invite the next speaker, Mr. Rahul Parthe, the co-founder, chairman, and CTO of Tech5, to talk about enabling digital transformation in Africa with inclusive digital IDs and integrated payments. Welcome, Rahul.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be on this podium again, especially when I'm talking about something that I deeply believe in and connect to. The topic is very long. I mean, the title itself is very long. I wish I could shorten it to say supercharging digital transformation in Africa. The one thing that I would definitely highlight is I'm not here to sell you technology. I'm going to preach an approach. We often hear the phrase, to be successful, it has to be in your DNA. Same is true for a truly leading digital nation. There are many characteristics, but let's talk about some six of those which I think are more vital and important as a building block of this nation. First of all, is people empowerment. It's not a buzzword. It has to really mean something. It has to enable people to contribute, participate, and most importantly, benefit from the digital ecosystem. Trust forms the bedrock of any transaction. I would like to draw your attention to the word bilateral. Trust goes both ways. When people are interacting with their service providers, be it government, be it private sector, we always focus on identity, making sure people not frauding the system. But what about people getting frauded by fake systems? There has to be a bilateral trust. The economy is advanced by means of true financial inclusion, seamless payment integration, which, as we know, leads to explosive digital commerce. The ecosystem is open, which allows collaboration between public and private sector to innovate. In this, we have seen that government as a service plays the most important role. Sustainable growth is vital to keep this system going on. If the digital ecosystem creates value, if it has utility, it will generate value for the country, and then the ecosystem itself will be funded on its own and grow. The last and most important thing for that nation to be successful is to build something sovereign, and it should be agile. Sovereign because of external dependencies. As we know, the geopolitical changes, somebody doesn't like somebody, pulls off the plug. You should be able to be sustainable in those situations, and agile because things are rapidly changing. Digital evolution is happening fast, and your system should be able to change rapidly. The last thing that I would like to highlight is that don't think about it as a program, don't think about it as a platform. Think about an ecosystem. To be successful, you need to make strategic considerations. Don't reinvent. Leverage what's already there. Leverage your existing infrastructure, especially mobile phones and internet. Do not reinvest. Leverage your existing foundational IDs and registries. It's very easy now to convert your data repositories into verifiable credentials. Great standards are being written there. The world is working towards making this possible. From the ground up, build your systems to be inclusive. Make sure not only that the technology is chosen properly, but the standards and the approach is also inclusive. It has to be scalable. I've heard good stories saying that we have an amazing system, but we don't advertise it more because we don't have the money to scale our infrastructure because the users are increasing. That's a shame. And then the third thing is it should not be disruptive. It should work with the system and not against it. Goes without saying, if you make it cross-sectoral and interoperable, it will have the opportunity to create that value chain, as the keynote speaker was mentioning. It gives you the opportunity to align incentives. Everybody in the value chain should benefit. Even if the total impact is less as a positive impact, every person or in the component in the value chain should have a tangible benefit. Last but not least, design your ecosystems in compliance with your data privacy and protection laws. Countless stories. You build amazing systems, somebody writes a new data protection law and system has to be shut down because it does not comply. Do not make it an afterthought. Consider it when you're building it up. The rollout strategy is the most important thing to really achieve what you are going for. Now, this one may say is applicable to any business, any program. But why do I bring it here? Because it is very important to see the choices you make in terms of standards, the technology will help you to effectively roll out your programs. The first step is implement a low cost, high impact infrastructure, which we defined as Rails, and I'll come to that. Start small, grow smart. Do not aim for the sky. Start with very high impactful services. Make sure the strategic considerations you made allow you to scale infinitely without resistance and works with the existing ecosystem. Start monetizing your services, no harm. As long as you're not taxing the citizens, there is no shame in charging for services and feeding back that revenue into your ecosystems, which will lead to the sustainable growth of your ecosystem. Let's take a very broad stroke, pragmatic approach of how you can do something that takes care into those strategic considerations and will allow you to implement your rollout plan. Go for a cross-sectoral digital public infrastructure. It's a very broad term. Everybody wakes up to it with a different understanding of what DPI is, and we'll talk about it. But generally speaking, it is something that allows you to interconnect the ecosystems, the people, and so on. Make sure digital identity is at the core. Digital identity of humans and non-humans. Do not only think about humans. As I said in the beginning slide, it's an interaction between people and service providers. Both need to trust each other. And the last one I would definitely suggest is a decentralized approach. So, what is decentralized? You'll have a lot of philosophy around it. You'll hear a lot about it. It is not about just saying, let's shift the control and make it user centric. It is also about cost reduction. It is about spreading the risk. It is about scaling the trust. The last piece is super important because when you have centralized system, your trust is with a centralized anchor. When you decentralize it, your capabilities of scaling that trust goes infinitely high. Simply speaking, without any technical details, I would say it's a wallet-based ecosystem to begin with. The wallets could be on your phone or could be in the cloud for people who don't have a phone. It starts with storing your credentials and digital assets in those wallets, not in a central server. The credentials and the assets can be cryptographically or biometrically proved that they belong to you. Again, do not have to hit any centralized servers. There are means to selectively disclose things. You can choose who you want to show things to and what you want to show. This allows you to implement the privacy aspect of it. As I said, a lot of international community has spent a lot of effort building amazing architecture, standards, and technology. Adopt those. No shame. Take them. And last but not least, these wallets start to act as a data exchange hub. You do not have to invest in large scale central data exchange hubs. Why is decentralized better? Let's look at it from an economic perspective. First of all, it does not require high upfront investment. You can leverage incremental capital injection into these programs. Do not go sign and with a big sovereign loan. Go and look for big loans from donors. Don't go sign a 10-year contract with big tech go cloud providers. You can start small. That's what the main message is. The decentralized approach gives you infinite scalability against having a slow, complex scaling centralized system. It diversifies risk, whereas the centralized system concentrates liability risk, a lot of cyber issues, and I can go on about it. And again, with a decentralized approach, you can easily leverage the the existing infrastructure. The digital transformation starts here. Implement the foundational rails. I say rails, you must have heard about stacks. Slightly different approach. I believe in building rails first and then stacks. Number one, start with decentralized digital identity rails. And I will talk in more details about it because that is the trust and anchor. Build notification for real-time communications and targeted messaging. Very often undervalued, but great potential to serve the citizens. Then you build secure data channels, allows you to exchange data, assets, tokenize, money, and you can go on. It becomes infinitely useful. Then layer in the most impactful value exchange, that is payments. And my friend Yared just spoke about the value, and we saw the poll. I'll talk about it also. You have to encapsulate all of this in a trust ecosystem. Peeling the layer a little bit, the first and foremost, more core important thing is decentralized digital identity rail. Choose your foundational ID as their anchor, if available. If not, build one, or do not shy away from using multiple trust anchors. There are countless use cases of that or examples of that. Make sure your ID, the digital ID of the human, and I have to be very specific, is bound with biometrics. Choose the standard and technology that makes it inclusive, interoperable. Use user-friendly wallets for interactions, credentials, assets, and so on. And again, I would emphasize use a decentralized ID approach in the ID itself, a digital identity. Leveraging the digital identity, you're able to establish the trust, the much needed trust between the parties that are exchanging information. So secure channels allows you to exchange valuable, private, secure information. Once the wallets, the phones are capable of storing and exchanging, they become the decentralized data exchange hubs. They act like micro hubs instead of investing in a big data exchange platform. And because of the means of security, selective disclosures, you can achieve the much needed privacy control in these ecosystems. Now there comes the part where what is the most impactful service and layer that actually helps you adopt the technology or the ecosystem, and that is payment rails. By using identity, you can increase your financial inclusion, simplifying how you get access to banking and finance. Yared just spoke about it. It's simple. You should be able to click a few things and get a bank account open, get a virtual credit card, and so on. Use the trust and security to do secure transaction. Strong customer authentication is easily possible with the decentralized ecosystem. This allows you to implement all kinds of payment flows in any direction, government to customers, citizens, C2G, and so on, including now combining this with the services, the payment flows, and biometric security, you can increase your radius of inclusion and services. Everybody talks about AI. AI is a buzzword. Do not separately invest in a heavy AI infrastructure. Build something that is AI ready. And I'll highlight quickly 3 points on AI. This decentralized infrastructure, we have started to look into this, is pro governance. How do you ensure that governments can deliver some value to the citizens even before things happen? AI agents in the wallets allow for digitally illiterate people to also use the ecosystem, voice based commands, chatbots, and so on. And last but not least, meaningful delivery of AI. I said there was a expo just before this expo here where Ethiopians were talking about investing in AI. Imagine that you build a amazing AI system, yeah, and you could classify them into anything in health or financial and so on. How do you deliver it to people? This actually allows you to deliver it very effectively to a common citizen on the street. When it all comes together, you have built a scalable digital ecosystem, one infrastructure, infinite services, allows you to have seamless collaboration between public private sector, effortless expansions. And we'll talk about it when we are successful, but adding services should not take you more than 2 weeks, be it Ministry of Tax or be it Ministry of Agriculture. Maximizing the reach. If you have chosen your standards and technology properly, you will reach to the last person in the country. This will fuel innovation, pull in the much needed revenues to have a self-sustaining living ecosystem. This is not a vision. It's not a blueprint. It is actually happening. I know there are a bunch of countries who are trying something or in parts, but I can confidently say there are at least two countries who are going full blown on this approach, and we are proud to be part of it. It's one is Honduras and second is Ethiopia. Both go live in few weeks, I would say. And if you would like to learn more from it, happy to exchange the experience on this. I would also like to encourage you to attend a panel that I'm going to be on day 3 on financial stack. With this, I would like to challenge the leadership. There is a big monumental shift. Everybody's moving towards decentralized ecosystems. Do not get stuck in the concept of is it DPI, is it ecosystem, is it identity, digital identity. Look at your country as an ecosystem. And then I would ask you, are you ready for it? With that, thank you so much for listening to me. And if you have any questions, happy to answer those.
Uh, Thank you very much, Rahul.